Section 5, speed her up, 4-1. Five, more speed, 4-7. Back. Section 5, more speed, 4-7.
Hello students, let's start with the chapter Age of Industrialization, second part, Hand Labor and Steam Power. Well, as you have seen the screen with various images on it and a video of modern times. Could you guess situation of labor during that time? Age of industrialization, or I should say industrial revolution, took place in Victorian England. Well, why Victorian? Okay, so here it goes. It was the reign of Queen Victoria, who ascended to the throne at the age of 18 and ruled during the industrialization of England, encouraging tremendous change and expansive growth of England's domestic and foreign power. In Victorian Britain, there was no shortage of human labor. Poor peasants and migrants moved to the cities in large numbers in search of jobs, waiting for work. As you will know, when there is plenty of labor, wages are low. Do you know who is a vagrant? A person without a settled home or regular work who wanders from place to place and lives by begging is a vagrant. Okay. So now industrialists had no problem of labor shortage or high wage cost. They did not want to introduce machines that got rid of human labor and required large capital investment because, as you know, Victorian Britain, there was no shortage of human labor as people were moving from countryside to cities in search of jobs. Correct. In many industries, the demand for labor was seasonal. Gas work and breweries were especially busy through the cold months, so they needed more workers to meet their peak demand. Do you know the story of Gaslight? Well, here goes the story. William Murdoch was an engineer working for the firm of Bolton and Watt. When, while investigating distillation process sometimes in 1792 to 1794, he began using coal gas for illumination. He was living in Redruth in Cornwall at the time and made some small scale experiments with lighting his own house with coal gas. He soon dropped the subject until 1798 when he moved to Birmingham to work at Bolton and Watt's home base of Soho. Bolton and Watt then instigated another small scale series of experiments. With the ongoing patent litigation and their main business of steam engines to attend to, the subject was dropped once again. Gregory Watt, James Watt's second son, while traveling in Europe, saw Leben's demonstration and wrote a letter to his brother, James Watt Jr., informing him of this potential competitor. This prompted James Watt Jr. to begin a gaslit development program at Bolton and Watt that would scale up the technology and led to the first commercial application of gaslight. Well, have you seen the movie of Mary Poppins? Well, it is a movie for small kids, but in that movie, you can actually see the work of the gaslight being done by humans every day. In the morning time, they had to close down the gas, and in the evening time, they had to go around London lighting up all the lights. Yes, that is how work was done by them during the winter time. Bookbinders and printers, catering to Christmas demand, too needed extra hand before December. December is the Christmas time, and so it's just like Diwali in Europe. And so, lot of presents, lot of books, which were actually exchanged as a present during those days. Why? Because print revolution had just occurred and everybody was in reading mania. People were reading away books and were entering the virtual world. At the war front, winter was the time that ships were repaired and spruced up. In all such industries where production fluctuated with the season, industrialists usually preferred hand labor, employing workers for the season. There was abundance of labor in the market during this time. How? Well, people were traveling from countryside to towns and cities for jobs. The actual possibility of getting a job depended on network of friendship and relations. If you had a relative or a friend in a factory, you would quickly get a job. Many job seekers had to wait weeks spending nights under bridges or in the night shelter. Wages increased somewhat in the early 19th century, but that was not a real actual wage rise because prices were too fluctuating and rising in accordance to the wage. So, was there a profit to these workers? Actually, no. Working conditions of workers were terrible during the Industrial Revolution. Factories were built, businesses were in need of workers. With a long line of people willing to work, employers could set wages as low as they wanted. People were willing to do work as long as they got paid. People worked for 14 to 16 hours a day for 6 days a week. However, the majority of the labor which were present were unskilled. They would get a meager salary of $8 to $10. Skilled workers earned a little more, but not significantly more. Women received one third or sometimes one half the pay that men received. So, was there a gender bias during that time? What about this time period? Is there a gender bias even today? Do women get paid less as compared to men in all the industries, in all spheres of life? Well, we'll talk about this later. In the age of industrialization, children received even less. Oh, that shows that there was child labor during this time. Owners who were only concerned with making a profit were satisfied because labor costed less. Factories were not the best places to work. The only light present was the sunlight that came through the windows. Machines spit out smoke, and in some factories, workers came out covered in black soot by the end of the day. There were plethora of machines with not many safety precautions. This resulted in many accidents. The workers only received a break for lunch and a break for dinner. Labor unions were formed because workers finally wanted to put a stop to long hours with little pay. They demanded more pay and fair treatment. They did not want children to work in factories because of the danger involved. Labor unions organized strikes and protests. As business began to boom and the national market grew, more people began to move to northeast because they wanted jobs. As you can see in the map given on the right hand side. Most people live in slums as depicted in the picture to your right. 5 to 9 people living in a single room? Yes, it was a terrible condition. And so close to one another, diseases spread rapidly. Lack of medicines resulted in many deaths. Now let's talk about spinning jenny. Spinning jenny was invented in 1764 in Europe. Spinning jenny used 8 spindles instead of 1. Yes, like the spinning wheel. Creator of spinning jenny was James Hargreaves. He was a British carpenter and the weaver. He was the one who invented spinning jenny. Well, take some time to read the short story, which may be a legend, to understand the creator. The purpose of spinning jenny was to fix the problem there was with the increased speed of weaving. Spinning jenny resolved the problem. Spinning jenny also decreased the need for labor. So did this hamper the work of the labor? Did they lose their jobs? Let's see. Well, in 1768, a group of spinners broke into Hargreaves' house and destroyed his spinning jenny machine, fearing that the machine would make work slow for them or maybe even make them lose their jobs. Mostly, the weaving job or the spinning job was done by women. Before we end the class today, I am going to leave you with 3 different images from 3 different movies. Yes, Hindi movies, old Hindi cinema. The first one is from Do Biga Zameen. The second one is from Naya Daur. And the third one is from our own Amitabh Bachchan, Namak Haram. Well, I've given some titles to it and also some information below it. Let's have a thought process on it and let us meet in the next class again.